Today I'm going to be breaking down how you can use DragBat here at Townhall 11 to 3-star any base. So here is the army composition that we are going to be using today, and honestly there's only a couple of key things you're going to need to make sure you're bringing. The first of which being the giant arrow on the queen. As with pretty much any air-based attack, this is the go-to piece of equipment on your queen. For the rest of your heroes, you can honestly bring whatever you think will work best. Of course the Eternal Tome always going to come in helpful. When it comes to our actual army composition itself, 10 dragons, main bulk of the army. Then for our spells, of course, we have those 6 bat spells. So let's jump in and we'll break this down. So the first thing we're going to be doing with this particular strategy is identifying where we can get the maximum amount of value from our queen with her giant arrow. Ideally what you're looking to do here is take out 1 or possibly even 2 air defenses, as well as the sweeper that is pointing in the direction that you are going to bring your dragons in from. So for us in this particular one, we're going to bring our dragons in from this bottom right hand side. So we're going to take down the air sweeper that is down just to the south section of the clan castle. So giant arrow comes in, and actually we end up taking down 2 air defenses and both the sweepers. That just happens to be a fairly big flaw in this base layout. Of course we have the giant coming out of our queen's ability as well. Really useful, typically tends to tank very nicely for our queen, though in this particular one unfortunately it doesn't do any tanking at all. King's then going to come on the opposite side of where we're bringing our dragons in from, typically on a corner section of the base. We're just going to put in a dragon, that's just to help support him a little bit. We're looking to try and take down this air defense on that right hand side of the base. It's going to go down, and then we're going to go ahead and bring these dragons in from, it's actually the top right hand side, my apologies, I thought it was going to be the bottom right hand side. Looks like that Stone Slammer is going to be making an appearance down from there. Stone Slammer definitely one of the strongest siege machines that you can bring at Town Hall 11. It works in really nicely with the dragons. Typically I tend to bring it like we did here from a slightly different angle than the main portion of our dragons, because it can get a lot of value by itself. We don't particularly need the protection of the Eternal Tome, though it's always going to help. Now remember, if you are going opposite Town Hall side, try to save a couple of spells for the back end if you can. You of course do have those bat spells swinging on through, so we'll talk about that in a little bit, but the main focus here is trying to get as much value as possible and taking down those wizard towers. The wizard towers and multi-target infernos are going to be potentially an issue, so that's why we're going to be bringing in the bat spells straight in towards them. We're going to be raging them up, freezing up that wizard tower, and they can easily crush through the back end. Now when it comes to that ice golem, you'll see it did make an appearance over from that left hand side of the base. Typically if you have a wizard tower that can potentially be caught with the ice golem on the outside of the base, you can use that to tank, and it's going to save one of your freeze spells for later on in the attack. Now remember, bats are incredibly strong against defenses, but not very strong against regular buildings. You'll see they took an absolute age just to take down the Town Hall right there, but not a problem for us at all. We have plenty of dragons left up on the back end of this one, as well as our Grand Warden. So this one, definitely a bit of overkill right there. The bat spells possibly not even needed, but they are always going to be beneficial. So moving through into our second example, again we're going to be approaching this the exact same way, looking to take down 1 or 2 air defenses, as well as the sweeper that is pointing in the direction of where we're going to bring our dragons in from. So for us here, it looks like we're probably going to be taking down along that left hand side, where we can potentially get 2 air defenses and the sweeper. Let's have a look. If we target the mortar, perfect. So we're able to get a huge amount of value right there from that giant arrow. Unfortunately for us here, the giant does go down very quickly, because we had lots of firing down on it, but it does give that queen just a little bit more tanking. Of course, if you don't have the giant, the magic mirror is also a really viable option, even sometimes just the invisibility vial itself. King again approaching the base the exact same way, coming in from that right hand side. We have the snake bracelet on him, just helps to give a little bit more tanking, sometimes especially when coming in against enemy heroes. And then dragons and balloons. We only have a handful of balloons in this one. Typically I tend to deploy down my dragons first, balloons second, but you can do it in pretty much whatever way you want. Stone Slammer are going to be coming from that top section of the base in this particular one, and this is actually a really great base to attack with DragBat because we have the double single target Inferno, which means we don't really have to worry about them with our bat spells. We do of course have the double Wizard Tower up at that top section of the base, which is why we're going to be bringing in, like I said, that Ice Golem first. Then we're going to be deploying down the bats. Free spell coming in just to be safe, making sure those bats do not go down to that. We have plenty of free spells, so don't be scared to use them. Unfortunately for us here, the bats do end up splitting up a little bit, which isn't ideal. Typically you want them to try and stick together for as long as possible, but regardless, this one is absolute overkill. We end up swagging that rage spell as well at the end. The Ice Golem didn't even go down. We have nearly all of our dragons left up. This one completely and utterly smashed. So this is why it's one of my personal favorite strategies, because sometimes even if your dragons don't quite get the full value you're looking for, those bats can do wonders on the back end. And here we are with that third and final example against a pretty unorthodox base, really awkward kind of double single target Inferno compartment in the core of the base, but again, not a problem for us. There's only a couple of things you need to make sure you're identifying. The most important probably is going to be, do they have multis or singles? If they have multis, you need to be careful. If they have singles, absolutely no problem. And then where are those wizard towers? So let's jump in. Giant arrow first, going to be coming in with that queen, shooting all the way along. Unfortunately for us here, we do end up missing the air defense over on that left hand side, and we don't catch either of the sweepers. But depending on where we bring our dragons in from, this may not be too much of a problem. Giant goes down pretty early on, but again, his job is literally just to be a meat shield, just a tank for that queen. King's then going to be coming in all the way over on that left hand side of the base. We want to make sure we're trying to take that air defense down, so that is why he is going to be coming in over there. Bring in, of course, our dragons, so we are going to be going from the opposite side of these air sweepers. There you saw it on that left hand side. If you didn't catch it, the spiky ball just popped off. Definitely probably the strongest piece of equipment down here at this lower town hall for the king. It's incredibly powerful, and you can always get a huge amount of value. Raging up into the Tesla farm down on this bottom right hand side of the base. Again, beware of those single target Infernos. We don't want to let them lock onto our dragons for too long, but they are not very effective when we bring our bats in. So at this point we have done a great amount of work. We only have 2 of those wizard towers left up. Stone Slammer is now going to be making an appearance over from that right hand side of the base, tanking for that top wizard tower with the Ice Golem. Absolutely perfect. You need to be careful though if you bring your bats too close to a Stone Slammer or even the dragon's balloons, because the bats themselves cannot lure out traps. However, the Stone Slammer can. So if you see right here, there is a red bomb chasing after those bats, so we have to be super careful, and they actually get caught in that tornado trap. So there's a couple of things you do have to be careful of, and of course that is bringing your bats too close to your other air-based troops where they're able to draw out traps. So typically that's why we approach the base from one side with our dragons and then from the other side with our bat spells. Try to keep them fairly separated so they can both get value and they won't end up destroying each other. This one's slightly closer than maybe some of the other ones, but we still end up with plenty of free spells there on the back end and another 3-star. So if you guys did enjoy this video and you'd like to see more, of course, go ahead and subscribe to us here at the Barracks. We did just hit 2,500 subscribers, which is a pretty big milestone. Gonna keep pushing all the way up to 5k. Keep an eye out as well for giveaways. They will be on the community tab on my YouTube channel. So keep your eyes peeled for them. Gonna be a few gold passes, I believe, giving away right there. But thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.